the Indian Air Force has confirmed that the pilot has not survived fatal injuries. I now see my dear friend and very respected military veteran, Group Captain Dr. MJ Augustine is with us. Thank you, sir. I know many people are trying to speak to you at this point. We really appreciate, we're really grateful for your time. And in fact, it was your post on social media that I think first alerted each one of us to the fact that this tragedy had taken place. So we thank you for bringing this to our attention. Sir, if with your permission, I'll just play out that video first so that anybody who's just joining us can see how this crash took place. As I said, the Dubai Air Show is one of the world's biggest, most significant aviation exhibitions. Everybody, militaries, defense buyers, defense sellers, aviation geeks, the general public was there and they saw this happen. Take a look.
Oh shit! Oh shit! 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 Oh my god! This is Indian Tejas.
I am originating good before.
So, Dr. Augustine, very, very tragic official confirmation, as I mentioned, that the pilot has not survived. I want to know your first thoughts. When you saw this happen, what went through your mind?
Very, very tragic, Barkha. So many memories came flooding back of me picking up my friends and, plastic bags. So that is the kind of, you know how it is. So
Yeah.
that is the first thing that hits you, when you lose a friend in like that. And not the first time I'm losing a friend in arm in front of my eyes. So that is another thing that really shakes you up. But then it is, a part of the deal a fighter pilot signs up for. In this, Barkha, let me give a few context so that our viewers understand exactly what happened and the nuances of how it happened. In my best of my knowledge, since I've done hundreds of hours of aerobatics and hundreds of hours of flying close to the ground, and having been in an accident myself, and all the skin is new. So, with that as the backdrop and the background, I'm saying this. Tejas does a wonderful signature maneuver, which you put out beautifully there,
Yeah.
called the negative G turn. So, the negative G turn is Tejas is the only aircraft in the world which does this. It puts on bank like towards you. I mean, I would request Ria to play that video in the center. The
Yeah,
bank is
I think
towards you,
I'm
Barkha.
asking, let me just actually get them to play that.
Yeah,
We have that maneuver. We have that maneuver video. It's just going to come up, sir. Let it come up and
yeah,
you can actually explain it to
yeah,
us because there it is. Go ahead, sir.
yeah. So it's called the negative G turn maneuver, in which the aeroplane is facing you. So the enemy thinks that normally when an aeroplane puts on bank, it normally turns towards you, isn't it?
Yeah.
The aeroplane puts on bank like this, it'll turn this way.
Yeah.
But Tejas puts on bank like towards you, but turns away from you. This is called the negative G turn. The
Mm-hmm.
blood comes into your eyes. So as it is, you can see right now in
Yeah.
front of your screen. It's called
Yeah.
the negative G turn maneuver. It's a negative G split. So this is actually a combat maneuver, which is a signature combat maneuver of Tejas. And why do when we show that, I mean, like you said, Tejas is a showstopper in this entire, display, single fighter display or a single engine fighter display. So when it does a negative G turn, like it is put on turn and like this, and it does a split and does something called a barrel roll.
Yeah.
Now, I told you I've been in this situation for many times. I was stationed in Badmer. In the morning when you go do a strafing run very close to the ground. You come, fire your bullets very close to the ground, you pull out. The mush, what is a mush? The aeroplane's nose is up, okay? Pilot sees only the sky, and the aeroplane appears to the pilot as that it is climbing out. But actually, the nose is up, Barka, and you can see just before the crash, the nose is up. The pilot, putting myself in the pilot's shoes, I can see only the sky, but the aeroplane is marching towards the ground. So from the time the nose comes up to the time the your aeroplane actually goes up, there is a finite loss of height. That is called the mush. You see this? See my hand? Comes down like this, nose goes up, but the aeroplane continues to go down and then it comes up because of the inertia. This mush, the height loss in this mush is function of the density altitude or the density of the air, which you can't see. You and I cannot see the density. Peculiarity of a desert area like UAE or Badmer is that in the morning when the temperature is less, the mush is less. In the afternoon, when the temperature is more, the mush is more because the air is now less denser or it is thinner.
Yeah.
So the same maneuver you did in the morning, you would have easily, clearly come out of it. But the same maneuver in the afternoon, your mush is so much and that you feel it in your stomach, the seat of the
So
pants, as they
it's
say.
particular. It's particular to sort of environments where there's sand, like Dubai or Barmaid, desert sort of environment.
Where the temperature variation is so high. In the morning, it could be 10
Right.
degrees. In the
Right.
afternoon, it could be 40 degrees. And the air gets thinner at higher temperature. This could be one of the reasons. And I mean, any fighter pilot or any pilot, we listen to the engine sound much more than dials of the engine. Even a small variation in engine RPM catches our attention. Listening to the sound, I am no doubt that there was no technical or engine malfunction.
You're
Thirdly,
saying there was no technical or engine malfunction.
to me,
You
it
believe.
appears so. Yeah, to
Why
me,
do you say that? Why do you say that?
because the engine till impact, to me, it appears that it has been functioning perfectly well. To me, it
In which
appears
in which
because
case?
of this, because of the sound.
Right.
I'm trained to listen to the sound and
Sure.
make out the. Um,
So I must ask a difficult question then. If there's no, if you believe prima facie, going by the sounds, that there was no engine or technical malfunction, then we must be confronted with how did this happen?
wafer thin safety margin and high temperature is where I am putting my money on as days goes by. Again, I'm not speculating. As days go by, in couple of months' time, we will come to know, Barka, what is the real reason.
Yeah.
But when you're carrying out low altitude maneuver, the margin itself is very thin. In August, F-16, there was a crash in F-16. I think we did a show also on that.
Yes. Yes.
Colonel Slab went and slammed into the ground. Similar situation. The mush, aeroplane's nose was up. F-16 was absolutely appearing to be going up, but it was just last little scrape. He brushed with the ground and he lost his life. So the margin is very, very thin. Thirdly, it has no bearing on the capability or the standing the Tejas enjoys. Let me say this unequivocally, Barka, to all of the viewers. There is
Yeah.
no single engine fighter in the history of aviation which enjoys single engine fighter in the history of aviation in the world which enjoys the same safety record as Tejas enjoys. Amount of flying it has flown in terms of sorties and hours vis-a-vis the accidents that you see. Tejas has the highest or the best safety record in the world. So previous accident happened. I was in Jaisalmer at that time. Was an engine malfunction, and this is the second accident since the induction of Tejas. And Tejas, mind you, is a single engine fighter. It is not a twin engine fighter. It's a single engine fighter. It has one of the best fly-by-wire system. And
I'm
Fly-by-wire
so
is
sorry. Before you explain fly-by-wire, and I want you to explain it, sir. It's very important that you mention that this is not a reflection on the standing of the Tejas or its ability, because you know what's going to happen. Because this happened on a world stage, India's adversaries, those with vested interests, they're going to start sneering or smearing the Tejas. And I want you to just explain that while this is the second incident in 2 years, in the first one, the pilot was actually able to eject. And the ejection seat of the Tejas aircraft, the zero special seat, is enabled for ejections. Secondly, in 24 years, these have been the only two mishaps that have taken place. And in the last one, the pilot was actually able to eject to safety. So just before you explain the fly-by-wire sort of mechanism that you were explaining, I want you to elaborate on the Tejas itself, right? Because it is the rollout of the program has been mired in delays, but the aircraft itself, you're saying what has happened today, countries or vested interests may seek to put a question mark on it, but you do not agree with that at all.
absolutely not. Let me break it down logically, and you know, Barkha, that I speak logic, and probably that is why I don't know. It's God's blessing. People listen to me.
Yes, yes.
Let me let me break it down logically, and I put forward this question to our viewers. Has Tejan's missile firing capability, carrying capability, or its radar capability, or its air-to-air refueling capability, or its uh, radar warning receivers capability, or its fly-by-wire technology capability has anything to do with this accident? Answer is no, because this is a pilot versus aeroplane deal. A
Hmm.
low-level aerobatics is a pilot control input versus aeroplane's performance deal. It has nothing to do with technology. It's as simple as that. Now let's come talk about why professional air forces which are looking at Tejas as one of the platform that they want to induct into their Indian Air Force will not look at it as a setback at all, because professional air forces know people do low-level aerobatics, are walking on thin ice. The safety margins are very, very less. Third, 13 crashes of F-35, Barkha. There are
Yeah.
countries standing in line, running after Trump to give them F-35. Did the 13 accidents of F-35 one you saw was stranded in Thiruvananthapuram for so many days? Did
Yes.
it have any bearing on F-35's sellability, or
How
people
many
standing?
accidents did you say? 13. The F-35 is at
12 or
13?
13, F-35,
12
yeah,
or 13.
F-35,
Yeah.
12. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, professional air forces know low-level aerobatics is the deal that you do to demonstrate the aeroplane's close combat and the maneuvering capability to your people, so that they feel happy that we have an aeroplane which can do such great aerobatics. Youngsters who watch the aerobatics want to join Air Force, so you're motivating them to join Air Force. And third, countries which want to buy this aeroplane are able to first hand see the capability of this aeroplane. They will not hold it against this particular crash. In fact, this particular crash, like I said, is the pilot versus aeroplane versus the environment deal. In this, my blame is towards the environment for simple reason. Environment is something is invisible to a pilot. The same set of situation in the morning is not the same set of condition in the morning is not the same set of condition in the afternoon in desert regions. So that is where I think that few 10, 20, 30 feet that we lost because the high temperature led to this accident. Otherwise, pilot would have easily come out, because he has done this maneuver in the morning. He's done it yesterday. He's done it day before. So it
Yeah.
is not the first time he is doing it. So that is why I'm saying that it will not be held against Tejas in spite of this accident. Barkha, it is Googleable today. You can you cannot say something and get away. I'm saying this, people can go and Google it. Show me
Yeah.
one single engine fighter in the history of aviation. I am not saying the current history of aviation ever made or till date has been made and it is working and flying in air forces. which has the safety record of a Tejas. No fighter, not even F-35.
Can you explain, because you have done so much of this yourself, why aerobatics, which is very close to the ground, is actually a genre of flying by itself, right? It is actually a highly specialized genre of flying by itself, and what its accompanying risks are. As you said, it's often pilot versus the environment, pilot versus the plane. It's not about whether that jet is proficient or not. And as you mentioned, you've put out a challenge there. You've said no single engine jet in the history of aviation has the safety record of the Tejas, and I think that's a really important thing to say right now. But can you explain what the risks are of aerobatic flying, especially when it's so low to the ground, like at an air show?
Absolutely. In fact, when only senior pilots with a lot of experience are chosen to be a low-level aerobatics pilot. Secondly, once you're chosen to be a low-level aerobatic pilot, then you get into a different league of pilots yourself, because now you choose your aeroplane,
Yeah,
you rehearse the maneuver. We call it the chair flying or the arm flying. We go in front of the aeroplane on the tarmac. Anyone who's watching us may think he's gone mad. We use our hand or a model, and
yeah,
we fly it or virtually fly it, and mentally fly it, visualize it, the power of visualization. And in this power of visualization, what are we doing? We know at this point what is my checkpoint, at this point what is my check height, check speed, at this point what is my check height and check speed. Here in the negative G maneuver, the pilot would have checked, okay, my height should be this, it's slightly less, maybe a little bit of a top rudder to come up a little, things like that. I mean, I'm going into nuances. So
yeah,
these are the things that pilots practice slightly at a higher height with somebody watching from the ground.
yeah,
So you are under the watchful eyes of a senior flight supervisor from the ground. In this case also, one of his colleague would be sitting in an observation tower, talking to him two-way and telling him you're okay, or telling him you're slightly low, correct for it. So the SFS, we call him the SFS, or the safety pilot, is also talking to the display pilot. Now the display pilot, safety pilot combo is working together here. And at all times, he is under watchful eyes and watchful supervision of people. Then you lower the height when you're practicing. All this you do it in India before you go abroad to show. Like Surya Kirans. Surya Kirans do a lot of practice. Before you become a Surya Kiran display pilot, you're a trainee pilot sitting with somebody else, learning the art of flying. It's not easy, Barkha. It's very, very difficult. Like I said, very wafer thin safety margin. One mistake, and like all fighter pilots go down, they go down in flames.
yeah. It is extremely tragic. I want you to explain one more thing. We have a new video which captures the crash from another angle, which I want to play out in a moment. But you were explaining the fly-by-wire mechanism, and I want you to explain that.
Okay, now fly-by-wire is very, very important thing for people to understand.
Yeah.
One, fly-by-wire is a set of computer, and in Tejas there are four of them, not one. Four computers doing the same thing. It's called the quadruplex fly-by-wire. The control input of the pilot is actually a demand to the computer. Unlike a manual aeroplane, when you move this control sticks, the control column moves. In a fly-by-wire, when you move the stick, the control surfaces don't move. Control surfaces are moved by the computer. So your control in pilot's control movements are an input to the computer. If suppose I'm at high speed and I'm
Yeah.
turning, I've got full stick back, full aft stick. That means I want to turn maximum. In a manual aeroplane, you can overstress the aeroplane. Instead of 9G, 9 times the gravity, if you pull it, say 10 or 12 or 11, the aeroplane is not designed for, you may buckle the aeroplane or you may even break the aeroplane. In a fly-by-wire, you cannot do that. If the 9G is the limit, Aeroplane will only give you 9G. You may ask 10, you may ask 20, doesn't matter. Computer will decide how much controls to come out so that the aeroplane is not overstressed. Similarly, at low speed, I may want to take the nose up very high. Aeroplane will not allow you to do that. Computers will not allow you to do that. So your pilot's control input is a demand in a fly-by-wire system. If it can give you, it will give you. If it cannot give you, it will clip it. The clipper circuits come into play. Fly-by-wire is an extremely required element in a negatively stable aeroplane like a Tejas or a Mirage 2000 or a Rafale. It's not possible to manually fly this aeroplane. It is impossible because they are negatively stable. As in
No,
the
explain this. What do you mean it's not possible to manually fly this plane? Explain,
Oh,
please.
superb. So let me
Yeah.
use this, remote as an example. If the
Yeah.
center of gravity of the aeroplane is here, okay,
Yeah.
and if the lifting force is here, the nose goes down. If the lifting force is in front, the nose goes up. So negatively stable aeroplane, the lifting force is actually here. Why? In front. Why? Because you want the aeroplane to maneuver quickly. You don't want a stable aeroplane. Fighter aeroplanes needs to be unstable, not stable. Passenger carrying aeroplane needs to be extremely stable. Fighter aeroplanes needs to be unstable. The more unstable fighter aeroplane is, the more maneuverable it is. It is easy to maneuver. So
Yeah.
it is deliberately made unstable, and the artificial stability is provided by the computers called the fly-by-wire computers.
I
Or
see.
we call it the FCS.
I see.
The flight
I
control
see.
systems.
I see.
So
Yeah.
it is impossible to fly
I
without the
see.
computer.
Right. Now, sir, I know you're in much demand. I need a few more minutes of your time. There is a new video just released by ANI, who has sourced it, I think, from Gulf News. I want to play this video out. I want you to look at it and tell us your thoughts. Let's play this, please. There's no sound, please. We need the video with sound. If we can just come out and you can maybe find the video with the sound. Okay. It's a new video, but I want the bit with the sound to come up. I want to ask you in the meantime, while our producers stack that up, the court of inquiry, the Air Force has made a very brief statement, sir, and they have actually said, apart from, of course, offering their condolences to the family of the pilot, a court of inquiry. So what will a court of inquiry be looking at, sir?
Exactly what we are talking about, Barkha. Nothing is left. In fact, there is another still image showing the crash site and the fire tender trying to douse it. And as we speak, the air show has already started.
Yeah.
The Sukhois, I think, are performing.
Right. So life has to carry on, of course.
The show has to go on.
But sir, I have the video ready. But complete your thought on the court of inquiry. Complete your thought on the court of inquiry.
Nothing is left. So the court of inquiry will take out the FDR, aka black box. Look at the parameters. In a couple of months down the road, if it is declassified, then we will know what happened. If it is not declassified, we will not know what happened.
And it may not be declassified because it's a national security. It's a fighter jet.
Not necessarily, because it happened in foreign soil.
Yes.
Maybe we owe answers to UAE as well. So probably it will be declassified. And since it has gathered so much of media attention, probably it will be declassified. 90% I can stick my... I've never been touchwood, Barkha, and
wrong.
Thank God, I've never been wrong in my assessments in any crashes till date, because I'm trained as a crash investigator. 99% it will be the hot condition that will be, the major cause for the accident.
Yeah. So before I get your last comment, we're going to make another attempt to play out this new video that has just come out, released by ANI, which captures the crash from a different angle. Let's take a look. Chilling, absolutely chilling, sir. You see the fire engines rush. I think we just lost. Did we just lose Dr. Augustine there? If we can maybe reconnect him for a final comment. In the meantime, I want to play this video again. This is released by ANI. Let's just hear it one more time. I can see Dr. Augustine joining us, but in the meantime, let's just play it one more time with the sound. So I was just saying, Dr. Augustine, that it's really chilling, and you can see the fire engines immediately rush to the site of the crash, and it's just all over in seconds. And that is the life, the daring life of a fighter jet pilot. But when you see this video, what additional thoughts did you have?
Loss of a comrade, loss of a friend, loss of one of my band of brother.
I know, sir. My heart just goes out, and I don't know how many people know, sir, but not just are you an acclaimed fighter jet pilot and a crash investigator, you are married also to somebody I have had the pleasure of interviewing many times. Varsha ma'am is a drone pilot, highly specialized, skilled pilot, and I hope you will give her my regards. And the reason I mention this is because people don't understand, for a military family, no work day is a normal day. For military families, when you go out to work, it's not like other people going out to work, right?
Absolutely.
Every day is a tryst, possible tryst with death and life.
Absolutely. And in fact, in Bidar, where Surya Kirans were stationed, I used to be flying there, and she had her office facing the runway. And you see in our screen the CFT, we call it the crash fire tender, running on the runway. So some mishaps or some minor mishaps, or sometimes even for an exercise or for practice, these crash fire tenders used to run left, right. And every time it passed her office, she used to skip a beat because it could have been her husband.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is all I can say is my heart today goes out to the pilot's family, to his friends, to his mates, to the entire Air Force community, to the military community. But I think every Indian must feel not just the pain of the loss of life, but also an appreciation and an acknowledgement for our men and women in uniform, for what you and people like you do every single day of your life. We can only thank you for your service. Group Captain Dr. Augustine, I am forever indebted to your wisdom. I always learn so much from you. And thank you, sir, for helping us decode this tragic crash that has taken place. Thank you, sir. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Jai Hind.